Fair. Something you will be tuning in for every single week will be the League of Ireland, of course. It returns next week as the Damien Duff era continues, with Shels looking to retain their hard-won league title of last year. They start as third favourites in the bookies behind Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's, who, of course, finished last season imperiously. But that's the bookies' favourites. Kento, I want to ask, who are your favourites? And try not to make this all about Cork City returning, because, frankly, nobody gives a shit apart from Cork City fans.
I mean, I think now that the best away day in the country for all ye dubs is back. Like again, it's great for all the Dublin clubs to sell out their Dublin derbies when they live 20 minutes away from each other, you know. Coming down to Cork and get the hotel, you get the whole weekend, and it's a lovely away day, much better than Daily Matter Talca. Anyway, a lot is being said of St. Pat's after they finished the last year, and it's absolutely fair. They went 9 unbeaten to close out the season, just left themselves too much to do. They've been very smart in their recruitment, though. Sean Hoare is back with Stephen Kenny, which is a very successful combination. Dundalk, you've got Brian Garton, obviously, on the coaching staff of Pats as well. Mason Mealy, the £1 million man, off to Spurs next year. But again, the best bit of Brexit is the rule that you cannot take kids when they're under 18 anymore. So that's why he's still with Pats for this year. They held on to the likes of Jake Mulroney and Roman Palmer despite interest. For me, I don't even think they are in the bookies. I think Pats go off as favourites for me, and that might annoy the team in Tala. They've been shrewd with their shinings as well, but they do still, their 2024 season is still ongoing. They've got Molde in the Conference League, which is why they're playing us on a Sunday in the second game of the year. Matt Healy in midfield, Ed McGinty, automatic upgrades for them. Michael Noonan back from Man City and kind of through the academy there. Bags of potential, but I don't know, that could backfire. And like, again, Damien Duff might seem grumpy, but I guarantee you he is delighted that no one is really talking about Shells going back to back. No one's really talking about it. 63 points, which they got last year, almost certain not to be enough. But if they go repeat their defensive performance, again, only 27 goals in 36 games of football. Really good record, like. Just the questions about going forward, like, you don't know where their goals might come from, but if they can repeat the defensive performance, they're going to be very hard to beat, and that could help them. The best of the rest, probably Galway. I'd be lying if I wasn't excited about having Sean Maguire and Rory Keaton as a front two. Like, Rory Keaton finished second top scorer the year we got relegated across the entire league. And now with Maguire with them, Cathal O'Sullivan provides them. It was the next £1 million man. Gonna put my neck on the line there. Cathal O'Sullivan goes for a couple of million in a couple of years. We're gonna score loads. I'm not gonna talk about our defense. We're gonna score loads. We're gonna concede loads. We're gonna be entertaining. I take 8 right now, but just as an overall point, it's the first time we ever have 10 full-time teams in the top division. It's the first ever time we have a game every single week on television, which it's pathetic that we're celebrating it, because it's like, what was the issue before that? But it's unbelievable in terms of growing the league. New LOI TV app for the week-to-week streaming. New LOI Fantasy Football. We're on the crest of a wave here. I cannot wait. For me, Pats win the Premier, Athlone Town win the first, and I think Shells wrestle back the title, but in the women's division.
Okay, interesting. I think I listened to Sean Gannon on Second Captains this morning, and what I love about Shell's approach as a Shells fan, was they're not even thinking of themselves as champions here. You know, they're like, and he speaks about, not once has anyone mentioned retaining it or we have a target on our back or anything like that. They're going, we are starting from 0 points and we have to win it again. You know what I mean? It's not retaining our championship. He goes, obviously teams will approach us as champions and maybe they might want to beat us more, but we have to win every single game. I love that approach from Duffer. But I don't think they're going to. I think what will happen this year will be more Damien Duff, what he achieved and what made last season so interesting was the him of it all. Whether you loved him or you hated him, he made it interesting, was a constant talking point. But what I think made it so spiriting for football was in an era where we have, you know, so much is decided based on the financial strength of a team in the rest of world football. And look, it creeps into League of Ireland as well. Like, you know, Shamrock Rovers get the European boost every year and then they go on to win 4 leagues in a row. And then it's, you know, and there is a sliding scale there. But what Shells did was a testament to good coaching and team spirit in a way that reminds me of, say, a Martin O'Neill at Celtic, especially particularly in Europe, how he could make the team greater than the sum of their parts. obviously they'd been stripped for parts by the end of it, so that proved the challenge by the end of the season, but they managed to cobble together 3 wins at the end to do it. So I think for Shells, we're looking at a Shamrock Rovers style European run that will be fun and maybe spectacular. I don't know if we're gonna, like, could I see us getting to the Conference League? Yeah. Could I see us doing what Shamrock Rovers are doing and, you know, being in the playoffs or anything like that? I think that's a bit of an ask, but we'll see. I could see Duffer putting together something like that, and I think he's going to make headlines in doing so. Even outside of Ireland, I think people will be watching for him because he is a headline grabbing manager. So here we are again, staring down the barrel of potentially Rovers being pissed off and trying to win back the championship that they lost. Pats, for me, are, and I was shocked to see Rovers. Well, not that shocked, but like, you know, I would have put Pats as the favourites. They're my favourites. I think they found their feet just too late, as we said so often under Stephen Kenny last season. And then obviously they've got the cash injection of kind of the record setting fee of undisclosed for Mason Melia. Though again, opinions differ on whether it's 1 million, 2 million. It's undisclosed. Did you see the tweet they put up about it?
Yeah, I know what it
Undisclosed.
is.
A record. I know, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
out there. It is out
yeah.
there. It's not a secret, but they just aren't making it public.
No,
While also getting to keep him for the season. To me, that suggests everything lines up for Pats. But I would love again to see Shells have a good crack at it. And again, all I want is just, we're not going to get it because you only get those kind of seasons. But like now, the League of Ireland has the public's attention. You know, even in our like fantasy football league, we're starting like a little League of Ireland league, and I think there's going to be a lot of that this season where people are coming to it and approaching it in a less passive way than they would have previously. So I hope that whatever happens, the league justifies that and holds on and retains that level of interest. I just hope Rovers don't run away with it, or even Pats run away with it. I just want a competitive championship race.
just one more point on Rovers. A true real test at these kind of greatest teams of all time, which a lot of people would have looked at the four in a row and gone, yeah, it's can they do it again? Cody's Kilkenny is the one I always go back to. Tipperary beat them for the four in a row and to stop the five in a row in 2010. Kilkenny came back and won three in the next four. So this is now the test for Rovers, and for Bradley in particular. Can you take the hits? Can you take everything that like everyone else is going to say about you and go back and just go back to the well and get it once or twice more? Might roll nicely into what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, or will you do a city and just absolutely fall apart and have your manager pulling his beard hair out because he has no hair left to pull out as it is. Interesting times.